if we compare the theme, theme of a culture, theme of a literature, that can be called thematology in comparative literature. Thematology, okay, that is comparative literature. And in case of the theme of a literature, we see many themes are there, and that would be the dominant theme of literature. We will be discussing one of the themes of the literature today. Literaturally, we have seen that when comparative literature started its journey, it has came as a simple discipline. Next time, many questions come, whether it's a discipline, whether it's a branch, whether it's a simple idea, that is comparative literature. And from that perspective, we started our journey of comparative literature, and then we got several schools of comparative literature: American school, German school, British school of comparative literature. Okay. But theme will be there of the literature of theme. And next time we have seen that comparative literature has been an important area of comparison, and not only that, from the comparative literature we have got several sub-genre or branches of literature. That means in our previous class we have taught that the traveler's talk, or the traveler's journey, whether the traveler's story are real, we ask that questions. And getting some explanation, we have got that actually from the traveler's perspectives it's true, but from the others' perspectives it is not true. Because the traveler, if he is a person of nationalist movement, what are the culture he or she will be liking, he will be mentioning in his writing. Okay? That means there is a notion of positivism in travelers' writings. That means what traveler will write, we will see the likings and disliking of the traveler, not the real thing. In this way, traveler's writing has been a theme of comparison in comparative literature. Our today's class will be another portion, that is gender. Okay? And I skipped that portion, that is whenever comparative literature came in a full swing, then it has got that it has become the central of many motifs of literature. From comparative literature, we have got great literature, minor literature, and from that perspective, we have got the idea that is the world literature. Then we have got, that is traveler's talk, traveler's writings, that means travelogue. Then we have seen that is the gender studies. Gender studies, whenever we will be comparing the literature based on that gender studies, then we have seen whenever we will be comparing the several literature, we have got a theme, that is theme of feminism. And whenever we got the feminism into literature, when we will be comparing the feminism in two kinds of literature or two texts, that comparison will be called thematology, and that study is called gender studies. So gender studies next time come out as a branch of comparative literature. Whenever we started our journey to compare several themes, then gender studies came forward. And we also got the information, that means in case of European countries, they are moving forward a new terms. Naturally, we develop a syllabus and we proceed on. But in the European countries, they will always be picking up a new idea, new thing they will be incorporating in the syllabus, and the graduates and the scholars will be moving forward. At this moment, they were going about some other fields of literature. In such a way, comparative literature started, and then it was spreaded in several portions like gender studies, translation studies, post-colonial studies, post-colonial studies. So all are the studies, they started from the very issue of comparative literature. When we started talking about comparative literature, we talked about the culture and language. So language of two different countries and culture of two different countries will be compared in comparative literature. Okay, so in that case, we have got another field of literature, that is the cultural studies. So the cultural studies, comparative studies, gender studies, translation studies, post-colonial studies, all are now the major subject in literature, but they were derived once upon a time from comparative literature. Got the point? Yes. Gender and thematics. Gender studies. Let's start with another common idea. Now, what is feminism? We know. You had that course, isn't it? What is feminism? Feminism is about women. Feminism is a belief that will be talking about the equal rights of women. Okay? And there are several phases of feminism. First phase, second phase, third phase, this feminism. And feminism, first time, women are treated in literature in different perspectives. According to religious perspectives, women are born from a supernumerary bone of the male. Okay, Book of Genesis. In Book of Genesis it said that women are created from a supernumerary bone of a man. It means that প্রত্যেকটি মেয়ে মানুষ পুরুষ মানুষের একটা সংখ্যাতিরিক্ত হাড় থেকে তৈরি করা হয়েছে। সংখ্যাতিরিক্ত. William Shakespeare has said that frailty, thy name is women. তুমি সুন্দর তাই চেয়ে থাকি প্রভু একই মোর অপরাধ. নজরুল says. Nozul also says that এ বিশ্বে যা কিছু মহান সৃষ্টি চিরকল্যাণকর, অর্ধেক তার গড়িয়াছে নারী, অর্ধেক তার নয়. But William Shakespeare and another philosopher, I have forgotten his name, he has said that if you want to go to hell, then you can go to with the help of a woman. Even the art, all beautiful art of this world, Mona Lisa, a great art, that the art that can be praised highly all over the times, all over the world, and it is an art of a women. It is not an art of a man, isn't it? So in literature, in religion means in Igbo culture. You have said you have read Things Fall Apart, isn't it? There is a fruit they would crop. What is the name of the fruit? Yam. Who would cultivate that yam? Women are not allowed to cultivate the yam. Every religion, if a man dies, who will do the funeral activities? Man. In all religion, all kind of funeral activities will be done by only. So in literature, so in a religion, so in culture, women has two different views. One extremely good views, just like Mona Lisa, and like Tumi Sundarotai che thaki priyo eki mour aparad, exalted, beautiful position of women. And in another hand, we have seen the most vehement negative attitude towards women. And for this reason, even in UK, you have got the idea of the suffragette movement. Suffragette movements, that was the first movement dedicated for the voting rights for the women. Before the suffragettes movement, the European women, they didn't have the voting rights. Okay. So when such kind of movement was going on, Alan Showalter, this woman actually, he is a feminist critic, essayist, writer, and he has developed a criticism that is called gynocritics. Gynocritics means some text will be written by women that are called gynotexts. That means literature, novel, or something else written by women. And the women writer will be criticized in a way that we have said a little bit earlier. That is the women are praised highly in one hand, in another hand, women are criticized negatively, severely negatively. Okay. So with this attitude, this writer like Alan Showalter and others, they said that women should be treated as a man and they should have equal rights. You shouldn't women highly, you shouldn't praise women highly, you shouldn't negate our women as well. So women will have the equal status of a man. So that idea comes up in the mind of critics. That means women will be a human being. It is not man and women. Actually, in the 21st century, all will be treated according to their merit and performance. Okay. So that attitude, that means we should look women as a human being, not as a woman. That attitude is called feminism. And that attitude is also expressed or exaggerated by this kind of writers like Alan Showalter and others. Why such attitude? We have seen that in religion, literature, culture, everywhere women are treated negatively or highly praised. Why? Actually, if we go back to the Hellenic tradition of the past, why such kind of tradition has been created? In Hellenic goddesses, there are several kind of goddess. Okay, let me read that. 7 Greek goddesses are divided into 3 groups. In Hellenic culture, that means the past culture, the first are the virgin goddess. Okay, virgin goddess Artemis, Athena, Hestia, who represent the independent, self-sufficient quality of women. Okay, so first category, emotional attachment didn't divert them from what they considered important. Okay, so they are the virgin goddess. If we go forward, they were not victimized and didn't suffer. As archetypes, they express the need in women for autonomy and the capacity women have to focus their consciousness on what is personally meaningful. The second group, that is the vulnerable goddess. In this group, we have seen Hera, Demeter, and Persephone, which correspond to traditional roles of women: mother, and daughter. So in the first category, they will have the authority. The virgin god will have the authority. Second category, they will be the mother, wife and daughter. They are the vulnerable goddess. They are relationship-oriented goddesses archetype, whose identities and well-being depends on having sufficient relationship. The third category, the final category, that is alchemical or transformative goddess, comprise only Aphrodite, who generated love and beauty. So erotic attraction, sensuality, sexuality and new life. So in Hellenic tradition, we have seen three kinds of goddesses. From that perspective, so we started to view women goddesses in several perspectives. And in Christian goddess, Christian tradition of women. So in Hellenic tradition, we have seen three categories of goddesses. In Christian tradition of women, archetype Virgin Mary. Mary was the first century Galilean Jewish woman of Nazareth, the wife of Joseph and the mother of Jesus, according to the canonical Gospel and the Quran. The Gospel and Matthew and the Luke in the New Testament and the Quran describe Mary as a virgin. So in one category, Virgin Mary was a wife of Joseph. In another category, we have seen that Mary is virgin. And here we see another female character in Christian tradition. Her name is Mary Magdalene, sometimes called Mary of Magdala, or simply the Magdalena or the Madeleine, was a woman who, according to the four canonical gospel, traveled with Jesus as one of his followers and was a witness of his crucifixion and his aftermath. Okay. So in Christian tradition, we have seen several categories of women. Okay. And we have seen, for this reason, we have seen queens, ladies, saints, Arthurian women in contemporary short fiction. Okay. So from the Hellenic tradition to the Christian tradition, we have seen several kinds of women. So religion has put them in different categories. And from that perspective, we patriarchal society have a notion that women are either Hera, like Hera, or either like Aphrodite, either like Virgin Mary, either like wife of the Joseph Mary. Okay, that was the position. But our title is that the Guinevere, the case of Guinevere, gender studies and case of Guinevere. We have seen other characters in literature, just like one of the character is Clytemnestra. Who is Clytemnestra? Agamemnon's wife. And what happened to Clytemnestra? Who's? Yeah, stepsister of Helen. And Clytemnestra's husband name? Agamemnon. And what happened to Clytemnestra? And what did Clytemnestra do? Why? Make a marriage. Okay, so Clytemnestra is a decisive, resolute and aggressive women character in literature. Agamemnon. She was the wife of Agamemnon, commander-in-chief in Trojan War. Greek army's commander-in-chief was Agamemnon, Menelaus' younger brother. And her femininity is often called into question. It's in literature. Previously, we have got several views of women regarding this. They might be virgin, they might be wife, daughter, they might be love, a symbol of love and beauty. This. Having these preconceived views, when we see women in literature, what we see? Clytemnestra, whenever Agamemnon left, Clytemnestra was there. So Clytemnestra was doing everything good, well and good. But what happened? At the time of Agamemnon's journey, that means Agamemnon had to sacrifice their young daughter Iphigenia. Okay. Iphigenia, that was the involvement of god and goddesses. But what is that? At the absence, during the absence of Agamemnon, Clytemnestra was maintaining all the authoritative position of women. So before that, everybody praised Clytemnestra highly. Oh, Clytemnestra is a symbol of authority. In the absence of her husband, she was doing everything. Okay, but whenever at the return of Agamemnon, Clytemnestra managed to kill Agamemnon with the help of his brother Aegisthus, is it? Clytemnestra and Aegisthus murdered Agamemnon. Okay. When? And what was the situation? In which situation? Okay, everybody will say that yes, Clytemnestra's killing of her husband can be justified. Other will say, and many of the critics will say that Clytemnestra is a cruel woman who killed her husband with the help of Aegisthus. Okay, so Clytemnestra had two views or position in literature. One extremely positive, that is Clytemnestra maintained the authority while at the absence of Agamemnon, and another one, Clytemnestra was very cruel, who killed her husband. We have seen another character, Medea, in literature. Medea in Greek mythology, an enchantress, a magician, a woman who uses magic to put someone or something under his spell, who helped Jason, leader of the Argonauts, to obtain the golden fleece from her father, King Artius the Callius, and she was the divine descendant and had the gift of prophecy. She married Jason and under her magic powers advised to help them. Okay, so Medea, a character of literature. Medea, this woman character has been treated negatively, and she is called an enchanter. Enchanter, you know? Enchantress. Jadu Kori, female Jadukor, enchantress. Okay, so with the help of his magic power, Medea did everything. So there is no position of women over there. But the critic didn't observe what was the pitiable condition Medea had. Medea had the power of prophecy, and for this reason he tried to did this in different way that can be justified. But we didn't justify that. We only observed that Medea is an enchantress and she is a cruel character. Again, positive attitude towards women. Okay, so in such a way the study goes on. Rich is one writing. Rich means Adriani Rich. Adriani Rich, American poet, he has written about of women born is impassionate, much like Sexton poetry, but it is also scholarly in his critique to the institutionalized of the motherhood, fragmentary structure, frank and intimate. Okay, so women have been criticized negatively, but who are responsible for the fall of man from the Garden of Eden? It is Eve. It is Eve. But next time it is compared that women have been treated and criticized vehemently, but their maternity, women will be the human being that who will carry the civilization. Their womb, this is the power that can move the civilization fast. But for the cause of their womb, the women are criticized heavily because they will carry a child, so they can't be the soldiers. This is the cause. But this cause hasn't been described this is way. If there is no women, there will be no civilization. And here Adrianides praised that in his writing. As she said that, in celebration of my uterus, everyone is a bird. I am beating all my wings. They wanted to cut you out, but they will not. That means man wanted to cut the uterus of women, but they didn't understand that if there would be no uterus, there would be no civilization. Okay, they said you were immeasurably empty, but you are not. Who said that? There are two kinds of texts. Actually, some texts are written by man about women, and some texts are written by women about women. Okay, that is the gyno text or gyno ketic. Okay, so this is written by Adrianides, and he is speaking about the women and the womanhood and what are the negative attitude they had, that women had in society, in civilization, in religion, in everywhere, especially in a patriarchal society. And society is not responsible, as we have seen that from the Hellenic tradition to the Christian tradition, the views are like that. We have divided women goddess in several perspectives. We can see much of them towards the women. That is the archetype thinking of human being that we have inherited. Okay, so Adrianides has read this. Okay, so these are the attitudes they have. Another character, Morgus, the queen of Orchi, today best known as the Morgus and also known as the Morgus, and the mother spelling names are a character, a later Arthurian tradition. So in Arthurian tradition we have seen this character, female character, Clytemnestra, Medea, and this character. They have treated negatively. Nemu, okay, whom Mallory described as the chief lady of the lake, plays a pivotal role in the Arthurian court. Arthurian court, they play the significant role. So Morgus, Nemu, okay. Isolde, another character, is the name of the several characters in the legend of Christian or Isolde, the most prominent in Isolde of the Ireland, the wife of Mark of Cornwall and the lover, and the later the wife of Christian. Okay, and her mother, the Queen of Ireland, is also the named Isolde. Christian, also known as the Tristram or Tristian, and the similar names is the hero of the legend of Tristian and Isolde. Okay, so these are the characters. And the character Guinevere, also after written, Guinevere is the wife of the queen of King Arthur, is the Arthurian legend. Guinevere has been portrayed as everything from a villainous and opportunistic traitor of a fatally flawed but noble and virtuous lady. Guinevere, like Clytemnestra, had two attitudes. Guinevere, in one attitude, a highly authoritative lady. He had the leadership, she had the leadership and everything. But in the absence of King Arthur, he had a love relationship with King Arthur's closest friend, Lancelot. Okay, before falling in love with Lancelot, Guinevere was good. Everything was good. But for the cause of his love, Guinevere was treated vehemently negatively. A negative attitude towards gone to Guinevere. Okay, and We have also seen Jane Eyre, a novel by English writer Charlotte Bronte, and published under the current bill in October, Smith, Jane Eyre. We have also got the idea of Electra, mythological character. Okay, Electra is one of the most popular mythological character in tragedies. She is the main character in Greek tragedies. Electra by Sophocles. Sophocles একটা প্লে রচনা করেছেন যার নাম Electra. Electra by Euripides. ক্লাসিক্যাল যে ড্রামাটিস্ট Sophocles and Euripides দুজনেই ইলেকট্রাকে নিয়ে লিখেছেন। সো গুরুত্বপূর্ণ একটা চরিত্র হচ্ছে ইলেকট্রা, and also Judith. Okay, Judith is also a female character, but he is attributed. But God, she dons her finest cloth in order to seduce him. Again, Judith is a good character. In order to maintain her position, he did something, but that thing was criticized negatively. Okay, so all these characters in literature, they have highly good view, and in another way they have very negative view. Okay, whenever we will be discussing the theme of a writing, the theme, that means the feminism in Clytemnestra, feminism in Agamemnon, feminism in the other writing, Isolde and Guinevere, we see not the real view. We see the writer's positivist attitude towards the women. What the writer thought, that we have seen in the character of Guinevere, Clytemnestra, Medea, and other female characters. That means female are not presented as a human being. They are partially presented either negatively or positively. So women should be treated as a human being, and they have many positive qualities that hasn't been treated in literature. And for this reason, the study of women came out, and that is called gender studies. And whenever we will be comparing the theme, especially the feminism, that would be the branch of comparative literature that is called thematology. Okay, so this is about thematology and gender studies in comparative literature. So as I have started my today's lecture in such a way that comparative literature first started as a simple discipline, but next time it was flourished, and we have seen that cultural studies, comparative studies, cultural studies, post-colonial studies, gender studies, translation studies, and other studies next time come out, and also the world literature. Okay, so all have come out as a branch of comparative literature. But it's also true that nowadays they have been the major subject in many European universities nowadays. Okay, so this is about today's class, that is gender and thematology in comparative studies. Okay.